I really don't think I still need to be saying this, but spoilers for Endgame. You have been warned. So, the second Far From Home trailer dropped earlier this week, and with it, the big realization in the MCU, Mysterio's from another Earth, and there is a multiverse. In this video, I'm going to be explaining the multiverse, how Endgame caused it, and the Earth Mysterio is from. First of all, I'm going to be explaining how time travel works in Endgame. So, the movie's not like a lot of other time travel movies, where when you go in the past, your future changes to adjust to what you did in the past. What you do in the past in Endgame creates a new timeline in which that event happens. So, for example, if you went back in time and killed someone, that person wouldn't cease to exist in your universe, but instead, your killing of that person would create a whole new timeline where that person doesn't exist. As an example in Endgame, when they go back to New York and everything changes, Loki gets away. Stuff that happened in the first Avengers movie still stays intact in their future, but instead, it creates another timeline where all the things they did in the past did happen and their future is different. So at the end of the movie, when Captain America went back in time to have his dance with Peggy, that wouldn't change Peggy's role in the current MCU timeline, but it would create another timeline where Peggy never gets married to the other guy, never has the kids, and likely never has Sharon. The Captain America we saw at the end of the movie was probably Cap from the other timeline coming to our MCU timeline to give the shield to Falcon. So that's how time travel works in Endgame. Now let's explain how it creates the multiverse. So in the second Far From Home trailer in the clip that was released on Ellen, Nick Fury says that the snap tore open a hole in the timeline which created the multiverse. What I think happened was when the Avengers went back in time in Endgame and created all these alternate timelines, this was creating the multiverse. The snap only brought the other timelines through portals into the MCU timeline, which is how Cap was able to come back onto the bench. In the clip that was released on Ellen, Mysterio tells Spider-Man that his timeline, the MCU timeline is Earth 616, which a lot of people got mad because they thought it was Earth like 18999 or something like that Earth 616 is a different reality in the comics that's completely different than the MCU, but this isn't the MCU, this is the comics, so I'm okay with the MCU being Earth 616. Mysterio tells Spider-Man that he's from Earth 833, and in the comics, Earth 833 is home to Spider-Man UK. So we could have a cameo, or that could set up Spider-Man UK, but just like Earth 616 in the MCU is different than Earth 616 in the comics, I believe Earth 833 is different from Earth 833 in the comics. One thing about Earth 833 from the comics that I believe will be imported into Earth 833 in the MCU is that it is currently destroyed. But it wasn't the same way it was destroyed as in the comics. My theory about this Earth is that the same things happened, everyone got dusted all the way up to when 2014 Thanos attacks, but the characters don't come back to life. I believe they did not get the stones. They did not get all of them because Thanos from 2014 stopped them. The characters did not come back to life. Thanos attacked the Avengers HQ and killed them all. And Mysterio almost died when all of a sudden the snap happened in the main MCU timeline and opened a portal and brought Mysterio into the MCU timeline. Also in the second trailer, Mysterio tells Spider-Man that it would be nice to have someone like him on his Earth. That's because I believe Spider-Man did exist on Mysterio's Earth, but then he got dusted, and it was in those 5 years that Mysterio got his powers or whatever, and became a so-called hero, and Spider-Man wasn't around at that time, and Spider-Man never came back, so Mysterio never knew Spider-Man. How I think this is going to play out in the movie is S.H.I.E.L.D. are there as the portals open, as the portal opens of Mysterio from the alternate reality, and he comes in. He was a comic on his reality. He was a villain in his reality, but here he decides to be a hero to get close to the S.H.I.E.L.D. and Peter, but then ultimately betray them. And some people think he's lying about him being from another Earth, just like he's most likely lying about being a hero. I don't think he's lying about that. I think he's definitely a villain, but I don't think he's lying about being from another Earth. I think he's definitely from another Earth. So, those are my thoughts on how time travel works in the MCU and how it's going to factor into Spider-Man Homecoming. What do you think of this? Is Mysterio lying? Do you agree with all the points I made? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.